Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matt with your RTCG. Today's video is geared towards the collectors in the space. How do you maximize the money you can make from your collection whenever you're ready to sell it? This is not asking or saying that you should sell your collection right now, but at some point in the future, you're going to want to sell your collection, maybe to roll over that money into other areas of the hobby, or maybe into a whole different hobby that you're interested in. But this is basically just tips and tricks for you to maximize and get top dollar as close to market price as possible. I'm going to share all the secrets, the secret sauce behind how to maximize your profits as a collector this is from the perspective as a reseller. Like, I have a business, I sell cards online, I sell cards vending, and I sell cards at market all the time. And so I think I see a lot of chatter in the space lately about how collectors really kind of get shafted when it comes to getting full price for your collection. And I wanted to make a video to help out. To start off, we're going to dive right into the content, okay? That is the synopsis of the video. If you're interested, stick around, tune in. If you're not interested, this may not be the video for you. But at the end of the day, I do ask that you consider liking and subscribing to the video. I would really appreciate it, guys. We're on our road, our path, our journey to 1,000 subscribers. And if you would just hit that like button, even consider leaving a comment, that will help promote the video in the algorithm, help my channel grow. You don't have to do that. And even crazier than that, just hit that sub button. So let's go ahead and dive in. I want to preface this conversation. I've got like 3 major tips that we're about to get to that will just super practically help you get more money for your collection. But I want to preface this, okay? I am a reseller, remember. I want to preface this with a life lesson. This is applicable to almost everything in life. If you want the easy option, okay? If you want the easy option in life, it's gonna come with some, well, let's call them fees. If you want to take the easy route in life, it's going to come with some fees. It's going to come with some costs to it for the convenience of it being easy. If you want to have a more fruitful, meaningful experience in life or selling your collection, it's going to take more time and work. Those 2 things are constantly at odds with one another. Easier means it's going to cost you something, and it's not going to be as hard. Now, getting the most out of something, whether that's an experience in life, going to the gym or whatever, it's going to cost you time, it's going to cost you money, and it's going to be hard, okay? So what we're talking about in this video is the more difficult path you can take as a collector. If you want to take the easy route, those are there for you. Walk into your LGS. Like, let's break it down. What's the easiest path for a collector to sell their collection? You take your collection in person to your local LGS and say, hey, I'm looking to move all of this product at one time. What can you offer me? LGSs have the most overhead. They have employees. They have X, Y, and Z that's going to cost them. And so you're likely going to get the lowest percentage of market in that space. That doesn't mean that LGS is taking advantage of you, in my opinion. That LGS needs to make a certain percentage of profit to make sure they can keep their doors open, their lights on, their employees fed and paid well, not to mention taking care of their own families. And so they are going to offer you a lower percentage of market, but also you're going to be able to move all of that product at one time. How sweet is that? Like, you as a collector, you've had this stuff for years. It's appreciated in most cases. And you walk into an LGS and you say, hey, I'm looking to, realize some money here. I've had this stuff for a long time. I've gotten a lot of enjoyment out of it. It's time for me to move some money into another area. It's time for me to pay off my house. It's time for me to buy a car. Just had an emergency in life and I have to get rid of this stuff. That is going to be possible for you at any LGS. You're going to be able to walk in, sell it right away. Now, that's your easiest method, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Like, there are times in life where that is a necessity, and there's times in life where me, as a reseller, I sell and trade things to LGSs because of the convenience of it, or maybe because I'm making a trade towards another product for my personal collection that makes the most sense. Yes, I could make more money selling X products online or selling it myself, but it makes sense for me to trade that into an LGS for a product that I can't easily find elsewhere. So that's gonna be your easiest route. What's the second easiest route? Well, that's gonna be selling to an online reseller like me. You're typically gonna get anywhere between 65 to 75% of your collection's value by selling to someone like me. A lot of that's gonna depend on what you're selling. Is it sealed product? Is it singles? Is it lower end singles, higher end singles? Are you selling bulk? All of that stuff's gonna factor into the percentage of market offer you get. But again, you find someone like me that's an online reseller, I'm going to be interested in buying your entire collection a lot of times. And because of that, because of the ease of that transaction, because you don't have to go through all the work we're about to talk about, you can offload your collection for 70, 75% of market all day long. Now, we're gonna go ahead and pivot to what options you have to sell your collection. I hope that that little preamble was helpful. I just wanna kind of throw that out there because that is a reality. If you wanna take the easier route for selling your collection, it's gonna come with some costs, but it's gonna mean it's super easy and accessible for you. Let's go ahead and talk about selling your collection. You've got two main options. You can sell it online through eBay or TCG Player. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this. I have videos on that if you want to watch more. Check out my shorts and my more longer form content about selling bulk and all of that. This is also what I would call a more easy route because you're going to sign up for eBay or TCG Player. You're going to be able to list your cards there. You don't have, if you're on TCG Player, you don't even have to take pictures of them. And you can sell them for Marketplace. But get this, the convenience of selling on a marketplace as big as TCG Player or eBay means you're still paying upwards of 15 to 18%, okay? Not to mention you have to pay for shipping supplies, maybe you have to buy a printer or a thermal printer, all of the products, all the shipping supplies that you have. And if you're not an established like reseller business and you've really fine-tuned how to get those things in bulk. Like if you're just looking to offload your personal collection, you don't need to go to Uline and buy X number of boxes or bubble mailers. You're running to Walmart and you're gonna pay a premium on that. If you don't know how to buy shipping labels and stuff affordably or postage affordably, you're gonna be spending more for that at the post office, which is gonna then raise your margins up, your fees, probably closer to that 20, 21, 22%. And at that point, you're really, really close to what someone like I could offer you at 75% if you have a really just stinking awesome collection. So I just want to mention that that's an option to you. You can definitely get more money that way, but the work and time and effort put into it is super, super high. So what would I recommend that you do to maximize your profits? Well, I would look at selling locally, especially if you live in a more populated area or metro area. I live in like the Dallas area of Texas. Like this is a huge area. It's massive. And the opportunities to connect with people in person, buy and sell and trade product is huge and massive. So I would recommend going that route. If you're more in a rural area, you can still do this. It's just gonna take a little bit more creativity. Maybe you join some Discord groups, you work out deals that way. Maybe if you're selling a lot of your collection, you can meet somewhere in between. Anyways, there's options, okay? So I recommend these 3 tips to help you maximize your profits. And this is really where you can fully realize the value of your collection. Tip number 1 is to sell in person. This is to sell on a marketplace like Facebook Marketplace, somewhere where you can list products and meet locally to decide a price and to make a transaction. So the reason why this is so important is you're removing the marketplace fees from eBay and TCG Player, which eat into so much of your profit for all the reasons we just said. I'm not going to go back over it. This is how you fully realize, like, yes, you're having to pay for gas. Yes, you're having to list the item, which we're going to talk about. Yes, you're going to maybe negotiate on price, which we're also going to talk about. Those are the next 2 tips. And yes, you're going to have to put some time and effort into it. But this is going to be the way you maximize your profits, okay? So tip number one is pick Facebook Marketplace, for example. You're gonna have to list your cards. Tip number one is that you do not list everything as a lot. Okay, whenever you or any other collector post a picture of your entire sealed collection, all of your singles on your bed with your dirty socks on the ground, with your cat chilling on the pillow, that screams opportunity to me. You don't want me to be your target buyer, okay? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Like, stop and think about it. I'm trying to get you to, like, as the collector, like, you are now stepping into a seller's POV. I want you to imagine who your ideal buyer is for your collection. Your ideal buyer is another collector. This is going to be someone that you know and you are very familiar with because you are the collector. Like, you love these cards. So think about that whenever you list your card. How would you prefer to see a Blastoise SIR from 151? Like, if that's your go-to card, would you just want to see that thrown on the middle of a bed with 50 other cards? And then you just update that picture with a little red X over all the cards that have sold? No. If you're a collector and you're serious about finding those Blastoise, those big Blastoise boys, like, you're going to want to find a well-lit, nicely taken photo with a very, like, nicely professionally done bio and description of the card. You want to know what condition is the card. You want to have a well-lit photo. That doesn't mean it has to be professional. It just means that you need to be under some good light in the room. You need to have the card maybe on a black background. Take a good top-down photo of the front and of the back. And if the card has any specific flaws, if it's light played, moderately played, maybe you take specific photos of those flaws so that the collector can make an informed decision. I'm trying to get you to kind of think your process of selling. You need to find your target audience, because when you take a photo of your 151 ETB, all your single cards, your cat, your dirty socks, and your bed, that screams to someone like me as a reseller. I'm like, this guy's looking to offload everything. This is a great opportunity for me to step in because I have the capital. I'm well capitalized. I'm ready to buy. I'm going to offer 70% because that's where I need to be in order to make money and to make the margins I need to make for my business. And when that happens, if you are a collector trying to maximize your dollars and you really want to get market price, and this old joker, me, I step into your DMs, I'm like, hey man, I'm a reseller, and I see you're trying to sell your whole collection here, and I sell things online and I really need to buy them at around 70-75%, so here's my offer. If you're not interested in working with me, that's totally fine, just let me know. And you're like, get out of here, I'm not interested in you. Well, every part of your advertising and selling strategy was speaking to me and not your actual buyer that you have in your mind. So take good pictures, okay? I know this is a lot for this first point, but it's so important. Just take well-lit photos, top down, front, back, but maybe on a solid color background, typically ideally black. Highlight any flaws. Your description doesn't have to be like an essay. It just needs to be, what's the condition of the card, what's the set number, and then like maybe a little blurb about, hey, I picked this up, almost 2 years ago when 151 released. I remember pulling it with my family. I was so excited, and I'm really excited to find a new home for this card. Wow. A collector's gonna read that and be like, this is my guy. That's gonna be tip number one. Your listing matters. Make a good listing. Target focus on your target audience, which is going to be other collectors. Tip number two is decide on the price. I recommend, this is my personal recommendation, is that you list at market. I don't think you need to list above market. Just know that in these marketplace scenarios like Facebook, a lot of times people are going to look to negotiate. You need to know what are you willing to accept for the card, okay? A lot of people, when they go to Facebook, they're going to see cards listed at market and they're going to think to themselves like, oh, I could probably get that for 5 or 10% below market. That's a pretty good deal. I'm willing to pay that. That's a steal. I don't have to pay taxes or shipping on TCG Play. I don't have to wait for it to come in. I'm paying a little bit more, but I'm getting something I love and I can get it right now. So think about your think about your selling price. Like, what are you willing to sell that card for? You have to be true with yourself. Like, remember, yes, you love these cards. You've had them for years. You're connected to them, but now is the time you've decided to sell. I can't say what that time will be, if it's now or 3 or 5 years in the future when you see this. Just know you have to be okay with selling that at X amount, X percentage of market. And then when that negotiation starts, what I like to do is I always like to be upfront. I always like to tell people, like, here's the price I'm willing to sell at. Here's the price I'm willing to buy at. This is the best I can do. You know, if I list it at market and I'm only willing to take 95%, I'll let them know, like, second message. Like, they shoot back a really low ball offer of 80%. I'd be like, hey man, I respect that. Thanks for making the offer, but I'm really only willing to sell this at 95% of market. If you're not interested, I'll find another buyer. Thanks. Like, you have to kind of be shrewd in the way that you negotiate. That's a skill that you develop over time that, honestly, we as resellers, we have an edge there because we engage with that all the time. But I'm trying, hopefully this is adding value to you and you start thinking of ways that you can incorporate that. It doesn't mean you have to be like some like crazy great negotiator, you know? It just means that you need to know what your price is. Before you engage in negotiation, know your price. Because if you don't, you could miss out on an opportunity to actually sell the card, or you could end up selling it for less than you're willing to. Because I promise, if that Blastoise looks beautiful, as pristine as a PSA 10, and you're willing to accept 95%, in a market like today, I bet there's a buyer out there for you, especially if you live in a well-populated metro area. Now, tip number 3, and this is where we're gonna kind of land the ship, we're gonna close out here, is you have to be willing to wait. You have to be willing to say no. You're gonna have, when you post that PSA 10 Blastoise from 151, people are gonna message you. You're gonna get a lot of messages, but it may be the 50th message before you find the buyer. Are you willing to say no? You know what I mean? To maximize your profit, to do all of that, you have to be willing to say no. That's my recommendations. Tip number 1, really make a awesome, well put together listing. It doesn't have to be perfect. Well lit, good pictures behind a black background. It can be your mouse pad. Tip number 2 is know your price. And tip number 3 is be willing to say no and wait. A couple other tips here is to make sure you always meet in a well-lit, very public area, just for your safety. I personally don't like to meet after dark. That's a personal thing. I like to meet, outside of a Starbucks, outside of a Walmart, somewhere where it's really well lit, very well populated, just to, an added layer of protection, because people be wilding out there about Pokemon cards. It's kind of crazy. Number 2 is, cash deals are king. If you can find someone that's willing to pay you cash, that's awesome. Just make sure that, that you're able to be sure to count the cash before you leave. If you're buying cards, make sure you look through all the cards. There's a couple times I've bought collections and I've thumbed through maybe 10 cards, but I didn't check all 30 and there was an issue. Just know that, guys. It's all super important. And that's basically it. I hope that this video really helped you out. I hope that you enjoyed this. I just want you to know, resellers are not anti-collector. And I can't speak for everyone, but at least from me to you, I think collectors are the backbone of the hobby. In fact, I'm a collector. I have a master set of 151. I have sealed product in my collection that I love to look at and enjoy myself. This is all part of it. And I think that for you as a collector, you don't have to be limited. You don't have to sell your collection to a reseller, to a business. You can take agency and you can do the hard work to maximize your profit. It's worth it. It's worth it. And I'm not worried about sharing this information. I think the more collectors that learn how to do this, it's going to make you enjoy the hobby even more. You're going to have more capital to deploy back into the hobby. Okay? I think this is just going to help everything grow as well. And I don't think there's going to be a shortage of people looking for more of those easier paths, because that's super convenient. Okay, like I participate in those easier paths too. One's not good and one's not bad. It's not an evil versus good thing. This is the ecosystem. This is what we're doing. But the more knowledgeable you can be about selling your collection, the better. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you for the next one. Training is going really well. I got a strongman competition coming up on November 1st. This is actually my, can I go back? This is my first ever competition shirt. And I'm really excited. I'm gonna throw up a video on the screen right now. This is me doing 220 pounds on log press. This is awesome. I've grown so much over the last almost 4 years of doing strongman, and I can't wait to see what the next couple years have for me. I love competing. I love Pokemon cards. At the end of the videos, I kind of rant a little bit, share a little bit about my life, and let me know your thoughts down below. I'll see you for the next one. Peace.